Okay, my name is Laurel Curta. I am the director of the world famous Gopher Home Museum. This is a vastly different community than when I grew up in it. A lot of what you see here no longer exists, and that's one of the reasons the museum was born in the first place. It used to be a very busy little place with lots of businesses, but once the CPR decommissioned the railway line, that went up. The grain elevators, we had 5. For a community this size, that's completely unheard of. The grain elevators went down, businesses started to close, we lost the school. So this was just a last minute desperate attempt by a group of volunteers, threw out a bunch of ideas trying to come up with something that would keep their town alive, that would bring people in to service the existing businesses. They threw out ideas, nothing really stuck. At the end of their 3rd meeting, they were ready to get it to throw in the towel when honestly some lady was just feeling a little sassy. And she said, "Why don't we stuff gophers? We've got enough of them." And everybody laughed. And then they stopped laughing, and that's exactly what they did. So we think, it really shows Alberta grit, if you will, a little bit of ingenuity, a lot of creativity and imagination, and we want to see that move forward into the future. The original concept for this museum was the history of Torrington. So all of this does actually display the history. It's just told in a very different way than some of your traditional museums. People have been asking for more displays for many, many years, and we simply don't have the space. We're not entirely sure what the future holds for us, but in the meantime, we're making gophers. I'm pretty happy with him. A couple of months ago, I got a message from a woman who said, "Hey, I have a weird question." I get a lot of those. The truth is, we run a gopher museum. There's no weird question. She said that she works in the forestry wildfire division, and her peers, they have conversations about where they want to go, what they want to do. And she has one fellow that works with her that his biggest dream is to come to the Gopher Home Museum. Not my dream, but it's his dream, and good for him. And she asked if we would ever consider building a display for the wildfire fighters. I was really excited about that, and so I said, yes, of course, I would love to do that. We had plans to do an expansion of the building, get a new building. That fell through, but ideally we were going to have a lot more room, and one of the plans was to celebrate some of Alberta's heroes and workforce. We have a COVID display coming. Especially with the changes in climate and all the fires, we thought this was really important. So that person went ahead and sent me a little care package. It was exciting to get. So everything that you see in here, with the exception of the water bomber, was delivered to us, and we custom made an outfit for him. We thought, especially with the devastation that we saw this summer up in Jasper, it was really important to get this in here as soon as possible. We got one of their jerseys and a pair of their pants, and I'll be honest, these things are really well made. It was hard to cut through this stuff. It was almost like there was metal in it, so I take great satisfaction knowing that they're well protected. They sent in a couple of acorns, one of these wood slices, the little helicopter, and this cute little tiny knife here. We gave him a shovel. I wasn't sure if we were going to go with hose shovel, and this may change. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to keep in his hand. And then a couple of weeks ago, some of the office workers from forestries came out, and they delivered this little water bomber to us as well. So right now he's in a glass encased case, but he will be moving to a similar type display case as these dioramas. This one I did myself. My husband and I, last year in October, we went to Toronto to take a class on how to stuff rats. I couldn't find anybody who would do the gophers for us, and they're very expensive otherwise. They're about $550 each. We couldn't afford that as a small nonprofit. So we found someone who was teaching a rat course. We've never done that on a date night before, so that's what we did. So we've been making new displays throughout the winter, and this is one of them. So I expected that. So yeah, he had a call. I don't know what it is exactly, but something about this little place has captured the hearts and imaginations of thousands and thousands of people, and I think that's really special. I personally don't get it. But it's important.
You're running it.
I'm running it. It's partially daughter guilt. My parents helped build this place, and my mom ran it. My dad's the winter caretaker, so yeah, there's some daughter guilt in there. I grew up here. It was a lovely little place to grow up, and I would just really hate to see one more thing close. This is, of course, a Torrington museum, but it's an Alberta museum as well, and even greater, it's a Canadian museum. I want to see those people represented. It's important.